The Prime Minister was quite busy in the week that was, and we have the highlights. I'm Simone Wolf, and you're watching Jamaica House Weekly. At the start of the week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced changes to his cabinet, resulting in one less ministry as its portfolios were merged with others. Mining has been added to the Agriculture and Fisheries portfolio, with Floyd Green as Minister and Franklin Witter as his Minister of State. There is also now a Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, led by Darrell Vaz and supported by Minister of State J.C. Hutchinson. Other changes include the appointment of Pernell Charles Jr. as Minister of Labour and Social Security following the resignation of Carl Samuda. Newly appointed Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon will assume the role of Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister and will have direct oversight for skills and digital transformation. Prime Minister Holness says she will be responsible for liaising with the private sector and the Heart NSTA Trust to address skill gaps.
The private sector is crying, literally, regarding the availability of skilled labor. It is now becoming a constraint on our growth. And so we need to pay attention to that.
Other changes announced by the Prime Minister include the appointment of Marcia Smith as Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and Youth, and State Minister Orlando Tarilong moving to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Other State Minister moves include Xavier Main heading to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and Juliet Cuthbert Flynn at the Ministry of National Security. During his press briefing last Monday, the Prime Minister also announced that several accountability measures were to be implemented for the political directorate. He said written job descriptions were done in 2021 for members of Parliament and ministers and were to be tabled in Parliament shortly. A code of ethics to govern the conduct and duties of MPs was also developed late last year by the Ministries of Justice and Legal and Constitutional Affairs. Financial penalties are to be instituted for unexcused absences from sittings of Parliament and committee meetings.
So MPs are getting more pay. If they don't turn up, their pay will be docked. That will be implemented right away. The next phase is the productivity phase, which involves a new performance-based system and an accountability system.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, meanwhile, declined his salary increase under the new public sector compensation regime.
I have directed the Transformation Implementation Unit to remove the Prime Minister's compensation from the new salary scale. The Prime Minister's compensation will therefore remain at its previous levels. To be clear, no retroactive payments will apply to the Prime Minister's pay. Planting trees prevents soil erosion, thereby reducing flooding and landslides, supports biodiversity, reduces temperatures, provides food, and captures carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Already, we have planted over 2.5 million trees, and with your help and your labor, we can achieve the 3 million trees target by September 2023.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness continued his week by leading Jamaica's celebration of Labor Day. He was among those planting trees along Highway 2000 in support of the national project.
It is a very important thing that we are undertaking, and so the labor of the country that has always been responsible for the development of the country on this day is taking time out to voluntarily contribute time and effort to this very important cause that we acknowledge on Labor Day.
10,000 trees are projected to be planted on the 3.2-kilometer stretch of land in the vicinity of Heartlands Exchange. After laboring there, Prime Minister Holness joined residents in his Southwest St. Andrew constituency. Residents from the Olympic Gardens community turned out in their numbers to upgrade the waiting area of the health center, paint pedestrian crossings, and clear the community of bulky waste.
It's a big turnout. I'm very pleased. A lot of the residents have come out, as usual, as is the case. Those who are not actively participating in the improvements are giving support, and others are helping with food and refreshment.
Prime Minister Holness had several other engagements in the past week. These included a courtesy call by Food for the Poor's President Ed Rain and his team. Discussions were held around sustainable development and housing, to name a few. On Sunday, the Prime Minister discussed the need for values-based education, as he indicated that government was seeking to expand its partnership with the church to build more schools in Jamaica.
I believe that the church can play and is playing a very important role in fortifying the society and in ensuring that there isn't a total collapse of the moral base of the society.
Mr. Holness was delivering opening remarks at the Archdiocese 2023 Pentecost Assembly held at the National Arena.
He saw the potential in this country. He saw what this country could achieve if only it would just settle down and realize its true potential. If only it would not be distracted by meaningless debates that carries us around in a circle and carries us right back to the point where we started, only to realize that we missed the point and we missed the time. It was very frustrating to him.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness reflecting on the life and work of the late former Prime Minister Edward Seaga. He was speaking at a floral tribute to commemorate the 93rd anniversary of Mr. Seaga's birth at the National Heroes Park. Later in the day, Mr. Holness released a statement expressing deep sadness at the passing of well-known businessman Lascelles Chin. Mr. Chin, the founder of Lasco Group, passed away on Saturday at age 86. The Prime Minister hailed him as a visionary leader and an advocate for change whose legacy will forever inspire us. Over the weekend, the Prime Minister also expressed sadness at the passing of former Jamaica Labour Party caretaker for East Portland, Patrick Lee. Mr. Lee was also a former councillor, businessman and philanthropist. Condolences were also poured out at the passing of American-born singer Tina Turner, who passed away on Wednesday. Closing out the weekend, Prime Minister Andrew Holness attended a fundraising concert dubbed An Evening with Michael Bolton, the Children Charity Concert. The event was put on by the Issa Trust Foundation to raise $300,000 towards the construction of a new pediatric clinic in St. Anne. And this is where we close out Jamaica House Weekly. We'll be back next week with more stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.